Hi, my name is Jessica with Audentio, and I'm here to walk you through our UI.X framework. UI.X is compatible with XenForo 1.2 and later versions. UI.X 1.0 will support any version following XenForo 1.2. We will be supporting it for the remainder of the 1X series. We also have plans for a 2.0 that is currently under development. We created the framework to give people more customization options and control. Basic control options such as color, logo, and layout styles are included. We've also added sticky navigation, collapsible nodes, social media icons, node column and gridding, as well as many other features to our framework. One of the key reasons people choose UI.X is for the advanced modern tools it offers. These tools scale to any size board as well. Our code is clean, concise, and loads efficiently, which makes it suitable for projects with a large user base and many diverse devices and operating systems. Many clients such as Yahoo Fantasy Forums, Mac Rumors, and cPanel have used the product to give XenForo an extra boost on the front end. Today we'll be walking through some of the customization features this product has to offer and how to enable and disable certain features. We'll go ahead and get started by logging into your admin control panel and navigating to the style section. Most of the features we'll be showing you are accessible from the style properties. We can access that by clicking here. We've added a few of our own groups, which you can distinguish from the UI.X prefix. Go ahead and click on Global Settings. The first setting is the CSS template. This is useful for when you've created a new template. You can add additional templates here. Your JavaScript setting is directly below your theme and really shouldn't be changed unless you're creating a new theme. Next, you'll have the option to enable backstretch. When you enable backstretch, an image or images will appear as your background. When multiple images are entered, your backstretch images will transition between multiple images. You can customize your backstretch images even further by entering where your backstretch is applied to in the backstretch selector. You can also customize how long a backstretch image appears for and how quickly it fades into your next image. Max page width is the maximum size your content will form to. If we were to remove this, we can achieve a fluid style. A fluid style will fill the width of the page, no matter what the width of the browser may be. Like most of our customization features, it's mostly a matter of personal preference. The ideal place to edit max page width, if the width chooser is enabled, is actually in the Options panel, not in the Style properties. This will allow default to be fluid so that your users can toggle between the two when it starts to unfluid. Beneath your max page width, you have the option to enable width toggle. This allows individual users to switch the width of the forum from fixed to fluid or vice versa. However, if you choose this option, your max page width must be set in pixels. The button will appear in the bottom foot of your page. You can choose to disable this by unchecking the box. HTML5, CSS3, and Media Query support for IE8 and the Load IE8 Support Resources Locally options were created because some elements, like media queries, don't work correctly in IE8. You want to leave these settings at their default settings. Your Smart Border settings are part of a feature that automatically creates rounded corners between certain elements that have a margin between them. If you don't have a theme that has a border radius, most large components such as header or navigation, you can turn this off to save some load time, especially in covered page styles that will not require this setting. Your Smart Header settings give information about your first child and last child to help with sticky features. It is recommended keeping this feature enabled. We've included the option to disable fixed elements in unsupported mobile browsers. This function allows older mobile browsers to navigate the site with less issues while scrolling. By hiding JavaScript elements during load, some elements will be temporarily invisible during the loading of the page to reduce flashes of unstyled content. Your drop-down menu animation speed allows you to adjust how quickly your drop-down menu will appear. Some drop-down menu animations will happen instantly regardless of this setting. By removing titles on either the home page or the forum index, it allows the title of the page to not be shown before the content or nodes. Your form element height is the size of your inputs and selects and can be edited in pixels. Your page nav height is the size of your pagination buttons that appear on threads. Your avatar shape determines the shape a user's avatar will be cropped to. Enabling relative time allows you to see the responses to the second or in a shorted format. This box must be checked in order for the following options to work. Here you can choose which instances you'd like relative time to be used. When the Enable Icon Font for Editor Toolbar buttons is checked, the images in the text toolbar will be icons. If this option is turned off, the icons will be shown as images instead. Your UI.X page style is directly related to how your page is laid out. At a certain point in your settings, the page styles will be referred to in their order. Default is 0, Covered is 1, Wrapped is 2, and Custom is 3. The default page style only enlarges the content to the max page width. Covered style stretches your header, footer, and toolbars to the edges of your window. Wrap style wraps your content in additional background. This also enlarges to your max page width. You're able to customize your page wrapper's background color as well as your border color in the left-hand sidebar. You can also customize the wrapper for your content. Default includes your sidebar within the wrapper. Sidebar outside wrapper separates the elements so that the background is visible through your gutter area. No wrapper removes the content wrapper altogether, so your background is visible between all of your page elements. Gutters are the amount of space in between elements. The next two options allow you to change the amount of space between elements on your page. You have different options for both small and large. These gutter values are used when it contributes to the overall white space of the theme. The JavaScript catch ID makes sure that the JavaScript file catch is being reset, forcing new code to run. The UI.X version lets you know what version of UI.X you have installed. Check on Audentio.com to make sure that you have the most up-to-date version. You should not edit the UI.X version or turn on beta mode. If you'd like to use your own font that is not web safe, we've provided a spot for you to load Google Fonts by entering the name of the font in the character sets. Spaces must be substituted with a plus sign and all character sets separated with commas. The Font Awesome's path is where Font Awesome source files are pulled from. You can go to Font Awesome's website and load CSS. Below you can edit your font sizes and choose your font styles for primary, secondary, and tertiary fonts. Primary is most legibility. Secondary is used for titles and headings, and tertiary is left blank intentionally. You have the option for the header to only appear sticky on scroll up. This allows the header to go out of view when scrolling downwards on the page. But if the user starts to scroll up, they will have visibility of the header options. You can also set the minimum height to enable sticky scroll up, as well as the scroll sticky trigger distance. You can prevent always sticky, which will have items touching the top of the screen not be sticky when scrolled to the very top of the page. Your login trigger position allows you to change the location and style of the login trigger. You can choose whether you'd like the register link to show separately and if you'd like to enable icons next to the login and sign up triggers. By separating the header from your content wrapper, a margin is applied between the bottom of the header and the top of the content. Your header white space is a space set between elements. Your landscape and portrait viewports allow you to set at what height elements become sticky. When 0 is entered, sticky elements will remain unbound. These bounds are pretty well predetermined, shouldn't really be changed unless you're targeting specific devices. Your post-pagination location is where your page navigation will appear when a thread produces additional pages worth of content. Your offset can be set to make sure that all posts stay in line with each other. You can adjust your logo size through the logo image width. This allows you to use Retina images. It is also recommended to set half the natural width of your logo image. You have the option to add an icon next to your logo text in the box below. Click on the current icon shown to view all options. Enter your logo text below. This will be your forum or company name. Your responsive logo font size is the font size your logo will convert to when it reaches the logo text breakpoint. When the logo is located in the navigation bar, you will edit these sizes below. We've also included the option to include a slogan. This will appear next to your logo whenever possible. Depending on your theme settings and viewport size, this may not always display. If it just isn't displaying, this typically means that there just isn't room for it with the configuration you have on that theme, be that customize or product decision. When your navigation style is set to Logo Inside Navigation, or Nav Style 2, you have the option to show your brand mark within the navigation. If your logo text has not been set, the default image will be shown. Your navigation logo image width is the size your logo will appear within your navigation bar. Your viewport width for centered logo is the page viewport width at which your logo will become centered above your content. Enter 0 if you'd never like your logo to be centered, and 100 if you'd always like your logo to be centered. The Move Top Control to Content allows you to move the Post New Thread button into the content instead of the breadcrumb. By default, the house icon is shown in lieu of the word Home in the breadcrumb. To change it to text, uncheck the Show Home Crumb as Icon box. You have the option to remove the breadcrumb in certain instances. You can remove it from the bottom on all pages, you can also remove it from specific pages, such as the index or forum index. You can also choose to separate the breadcrumb items with an icon instead of the default. At the top, you'll be able to choose your navigation style. Sticky navigation allows your header to remain at the top of the page when you scroll down the page. You can also adjust the height to have the navigation bar height shrink or expand to a certain size when you're no longer at the top of the page. When you remove selected tab sublinks, it will turn the current sublinks into a drop-down menu. By default, the sublinks are removed in the sticky navigation, so when you scroll downwards on the page, they are no longer visible. To keep the sublinks visible, uncheck the box. You can choose whether or not you'd like to see an arrow indicating a drop-down menu. You can also customize the height of the arrow shown. By default, the visitor tabs appear in the user bar. If you'd like to move it to the navigation, uncheck this box. You can also condense the visitor tabs. This removes all visitor tabs except the account tab. The account tab shows the inbox and notification item counts. You can choose whether you'd like an avatar to appear next to the username on the visitor tab. By default, inline navigation alert balloons will be checked. Instead of alerts displaying like a balloon, your alerts will display in line with the text. If you'd like Home to appear as text instead of the house icon set by default, uncheck this box. Responsive navigation font size reduces font sizes for navigation on smaller viewports. Navigation tab icon size is the default size of your navigation tab icons. Your panel animation type is how your panel will expand and collapse when used. You can set how quickly this animation will happen in your panel animation duration. The trigger phrases are the menu phrases next to the off-canvas trigger icon. Below you can choose your panel types, breakpoints, and trigger positions. Your user bar location can be changed from the default location to underneath the navigation bar. Sticky navigation allows for the user bar to be visible when you scroll down the page. You can adjust the height of this bar by entering a new height in Sticky User Bar Height. By default, the inline user bar alert balloons feature is checked. This displays alerts in line with the text instead of displaying like a balloon. The viewport width for Collapse Admin Menu is the viewport width at which the admin menu will display as a drop-down. To have your admin menu always display as a drop-down, enter 100%. In the search style properties, you are able to change the search bar's position. Minimal search style size is the width your page must reach in order to show the quick search icon. You can change this to 0 to disable. With minimal search animation speed, you can change the animation speed below. Enter the time desired in seconds. Quick search width and height determines the size of the search bar for quick search. By default, it matches in line with your sidebar. We do not recommend changing these settings. You can also change the size of the icon that appears in your search bar. You can choose whether or not you'd like to have this icon be a button to quick search and where you'd like this button to be located. You can change the location of floating notices by entering 1 for right and 0 for left. You can choose whether you'd like your sidebar to be sticky, remaining in place as you scroll down the page to maintain visibility. iOS devices render off-screen elements that switch position during fixed scroll differently due to a bug. We've included an option to disable sticky sidebar for iOS due to this issue. You can also delay the sticky sidebar initialization. When enabled, the sticky sidebar will sticky after images have loaded onto the page in order to stop images loading in from allowing the sticky sidebar to overrun its bounds. You can choose whether you'd like to display visitor panel stats as icons. By default, this is turned off. Gridded mobile sidebar is what allows the sidebar widgets to break into a grid when used in mobile formats for ease of use. To change the location of your sidebar, check the following box and your sidebar will now be located on the left-hand side. You can choose to have the login form appear in your sidebar as well by enabling Show Login Form in Sidebar. When you enable Collapsible Sidebar, this gives users the option to toggle the sidebar on certain pages. You must set user permissions for this new UI.X options. By turning on Use Collapsible Sidebar phrases, the phrases open and close will appear next to the sidebar trigger. Your node style properties allow you to edit the look and feel of your nodes by editing what is visible in your basic style settings. By default, the avatar of the person who last posted will be visible in a node. To turn this off, go ahead and check the Show Avatar of Who Last Posted box. This section will disappear. By default, node styling is enabled. This allows any node options, such as colors, backgrounds, and fonts, to be changed. You can switch up your forum node style to your preferences. Grid layout can be configured in the node tree. Setting the last node to 50% width allows your node to be shrunk down to match the other node's column sizes when your forum node style is set to side-by-side or side-by-side category. By default, table style nodes is checked. This adds borders around your nodes like a table. This setting will not be correctly displayed for node grid layout. Your node grid breakpoints determine what size your nodes will display at depending on the view size. This helps create a seamless, responsive interaction for the user. Your node grid gutter is the distance set between nodes and pixels. Your node icons by default will appear as glyphs. You can change these glyphs to your preferences. To turn off the glyphs, uncheck the box. The category strip icons show an icon next to the category title. You can check or uncheck this box according to your preferences. When enabled, category description as tooltips allows a description of a forum category to be viewed when the user hovers over the node. Your node stats by default appear as icons. When you turn this option off, your stats will appear as text. Hiding the node controls will make the RSS icon no longer visible. Hiding the last post will make the latest post no longer visible when viewing your nodes. If there's new content, a new indicator will be displayed next to the node title. Check or uncheck this box according to your preferences. Your discussion list item padding is a space allotted around your thread information. You can adjust this by entering your desired spacing in pixels. Separate sticky threads adds heading about sticky threads above the normal threads in order to clearly differentiate the two types of threads. If you have sticky threads separated, you can choose to make this category collapsible so that users can opt to collapse their sticky threads. By default, the last post avatar is visible in the furthest right-hand column. You can uncheck this box to have only the text information visible. The classic post bit option allows your post bit to be located above your content in a thread. The stretch content container option stretches the heights of the content container and user info container. By default, the message controls appear as icons. Uncheck this box to have message controls appear as text only. You can also choose to remove the button-like appearance of the message controls by checking plain message controls. Private Controls Breakpoint is the viewport width at which your private messages will display as a drop-down menu to save screen space. Centered Controls Breakpoint is the viewport size at which your message controls will become centered in the screen. You can adjust the size of avatars within the post bit by selecting small, medium, or large. Keep in mind that the size will be forced to fit inside the space provided. You can edit the user container width to make the space wider or thinner. By default, the online marker will appear as a triangle. To display the marker as a circle, check the box. You can also choose whether you'd like your online marker to pulsate by checking or unchecking the following box. You can choose to have items such as avatars and extra post-bit information collapsible. You can also choose to have the post-bit information expand when a user hovers over the post-bit. Abridged signatures are signatures that are too long in appearance and are collapsed to save screen space. You can set the maximum height for signatures and message signature max height below. Anything above this maximum height will be collapsed. Users have the option to read a signature that exceeds the maximum height by selecting Expand. You can have signatures automatically expand by hover by checking the box below. Use style property values for extended footers are a way to enable extended footer content editable below. Your footer settings allow you to edit the content shown at the bottom footer of your page. You can set your width, how many columns to be shown, and the content within the columns. Your content can be edited by adding a title, icon, and content. Your default column width is the width your footer columns will appear, if not set by the individual column widths above. Your footer height is how tall your footer will appear at the bottom of your page. Enabling the sticky footer allows your footer to stick to the bottom of the document, even if the document isn't taller than the window height. You have jump buttons that will appear when you scroll throughout a page. The jump buttons will direct you to either the top of the page or the bottom of the page. You can choose to have these buttons enabled. You can change the location of these buttons by entering 0 for left and 1 for right. You can also choose whether you'd like these buttons to be stacked or side by side, and where the target for each button will jump to. Enabling custom row above or below extended footer allows you to add custom HTML to the top or bottom of the header by editing the associated templates. You can choose to have the footer menu, extended footer, and copyright force cover the entire width. This covers the background and extends the areas to the full width of the page. In your social media style groups, you will have the option to enable or disable social media links. When you enable social media links, any social media you currently have listed will appear. To add or edit your existing social media entries, navigate to the UI.X options in the left-hand sidebar and click Options. From Style Properties social media settings, you can change the colors of icons, positions, borders, and the size they appear. Your Welcome section is a dialog box that appears underneath your header. You can customize this by choosing which pages it appears on, your button text, header, and message. Make sure you check your user permissions to ensure your users can view the Welcome block. You can customize your advertisement appearance, such as centering, removing content, advertisement wrappers, and removing sidebar advertisement wrappers. Here you can also preview advertisement templates. These are visible to admins only. AD Styler is an optional feature that allows users to customize their theme's appearance. This feature is not supported in all themes. By enabling the AD Styler presets and swatches, the user is able to select preset skins from the styler and basic color swatches at the bottom. They can change their color schemes, background patterns, and panel fonts. You can choose to hide the AD Styler trigger if you want to only display the color swatches. Your Audentio API key is what allows you to quickly download and install Audentio's products. This allows you to easily update your existing products or add on additional products. You can choose to automatically check or update your styles and add-ons. This helps you to manage which products are up to date. You can choose whether you'd like to check for unassociated styles. This recognizes existing Audentio styles and checks for conflicting names with your products. Helpful alerts produce alerts to let you know of issues relating to JavaScript. We don't recommend turning this option off. The collapsible sidebar max days option is the number of days that a sidebar will be collapsed for. This resets your user's collapsible sidebar and will reopen for them. Your default page width is the default width at which your user sees. Your user can toggle this view with the Enable Width toggle option checked. This just allows you to choose the default width shown. The number of conversations and alerts shown in the Navigation tab dropdown can be adjusted here. This allows you to choose how far down the dropdown menu will go. Disable last post avatar queries if you have last post avatars disabled in your styles. This allows you to reduce your query count. Checking the debug stats for admins only allows the debug stats at the bottom of your page to be hidden from users when debug mode is enabled. Your welcome block options allow you to enable a welcome block and choose where it appears. You can choose to show the welcome section on all of your pages or just in the forum section. You can also edit your content and glyph icon that will appear next to your message. Your social media options are where you can set the URLs for your social media accounts to link to. You can disable them altogether at the top of the page. Keep in mind, unless you identify a URL to link to, the associated social media icon will not appear. Your Iconator settings are where you can enable the Add Iconator, add additional CSS for the Iconator to load, or add Iconator icon classes. We don't recommend editing this unless you're instructed to do so. Your node icon options allow you to change the icons that appear next to a node directly relating to the state of the node. Inheritance of icons allows icon styles to be set and transferred from parent nodes to their correlating nodes. Your thread lists options allow you to choose in which instances you'd like sticky threads to uncollapse and become visible to users. Users are able to collapse these threads once viewed. In your post options, you're able to enable collapsing signatures. Users will have the option to expand a signature past a certain length. You can set this length within your style properties. Your admin CP options enable drag and drop nodes and contains the associated jQuery UI URL. You really shouldn't edit these settings unless instructed. The footer options allow you to show your extended footer. This will include your description and menus as well. To access your node options, go to Applications and click on Display Node Tree. Here your nodes are listed out in their categories, with their child nodes underneath. You're able to drag and drop the nodes to change the order in which they are displayed. When you click on Node Options, you can choose between your style options and your grid options. Your style options allow you to change your node icons, colors, and whether you'd like to see them collapse by default. Your grid options allow you to choose whether you'd like to use your default options. Thank you for watching. We are planning on doing a UI.X 2.0 version as well, which will have most of the same features, if not more, than UI.X 1.0 has. If you have suggestions, questions, or anything at all, please let us know.